Hey guys, it's me, Dr. G. This should be our maybe third installment of sharing our stories. So I just really excited. We have a pretty cool guest, Dr. David Waldman. Some people call him a chiropractor. Some people call him a bodybuilder. Some people call him a healer. I call him a friend and a confidant, and I just want to share with you. Um, he's a walls warrior like I am. So I just want to share with you all, what our experience is. If we could give you a little bit of wisdom or a little bit of what we've been going through. But, I'm going to bring him on here now and we'll just start talking. Now, feel free, we could see your questions and all. So don't hesitate. I want this to be interactive. I want this to be something really special. So Dr. Dave Waldman, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure. It's pretty cool. I don't think we're getting feedback now, so this is a good thing. So, well, we know each other for a while now, and we met at the Walls Protocol Seminar. But walk me through a little bit about your life. If we could start, pre-MS, so to speak, if you don't mind.
Sure. I grew up in Massachusetts, south of Boston, and I got my background, my undergraduate degree in exercise physiology. So I've always been into exercise, fitness. I used to compete as a bodybuilder back when I was a teenager. And then I decided to go off to chiropractic school in Illinois. And then after that, I came back home and started my practice. And years went by, and then MS started to expose itself.
Okay. So you went through school.
Mm-hmm.
You started your life. Were you married by then?
I was not married right away, but I was with my fiance right from the get-go.
Oh, sweetheart. Okay. So then MS started to appear. Unpack that. So what did it appear to you as?
So it probably some of the signs happened before 2006, but but I really didn't know, that it was that. In 2006, I got double vision, or they call it diplopia, and then both of my hands were tingling, and my right hand, I really couldn't use it, and I had to have help buttoning my shirt. But after I was already in practice about 7 years, 6 or 7 years, and so I knew a lot about nutrition, and so I did some detox, different things to reverse a lot of the problems I was having at the time. And then I kind of put that out of my head. I was never really formally diagnosed with MS, but I had an MRI of the brain and my cervical spine, and that's where the lesions showed up.
So what were your first symptoms you were talking about? Did you say your hands?
It was my hands were tingling, and I couldn't use my right hand. If you could see, it was almost like this. So I couldn't
Kind of a description, huh?
button my shirt, and then the double vision as well, which was, that really throws you off.
Yeah, right. So that had to be kind of scary, and you didn't really. I know you're a doctor and all, so you kind of had an idea something was not right.
Right.
But yes.
I went to see a primary care physician. She sent me for an MRI, and then that's when I got the report. And then that's as far as I went. I did all the stuff that I knew how to do. I think at the time, 2006, I was in my early 30s, so I wasn't really. I was nervous, but not like like, oh my God, what's going on?
Okay.
But I handled it and reversed about 95% of it.
Well, tell me, like, break it down for me. Like, what were you doing to
I was doing some nutrition protocols to help cleanse my liver, polishing up my diet,
gotcha?
and that seemed to work, at the time.
Okay, so polishing up your diet. What does that mean? Is that like, whole grains and
Well, just eating good. Yeah, it wasn't walls because I didn't know about walls at the
okay,
time. But my diet was always pretty good.
pretty good for what from your weightlifting days at
Yeah,
Head, right?
right.
But my definition of diet then and now is different, but maybe with you because you had that background and that weightlifting and all. Okay, so fast forward a bit, you started feeling your hands, you had some double division. Where did we go from there?
And then I did the things that I knew how to do. I also have a cold laser, so I was lasering my brain. I mean, I'm
Okay,
doing all things that I knew how to do, aside from drugs, because I knew that wasn't going to help my condition.
you knew this,
Thankfully, I know what I know. I'm not saying I'm not anti-drug. I'm just saying I
right?
knew that wasn't the path for me.
But from your experience and seeing patients and all, you just felt that wasn't the way to go. Is that
Yeah.
correct? Yeah. Okay. So did you ever enter the MS drug field? No.
No, I didn't. I never. At the time, the doctor's like, "Oh, you need to go see a neurologist." She was really nice
Right.
on the phone. You have to go, and then I consulted with some of my colleagues, and I knew I wasn't going to go down that road. That just because of the background that I had.
And you were still actively in your practice.
Yep, I was still practicing. I could still practice, you could use my hand. I just couldn't. At the time, I had difficulty writing, and I couldn't even read what I was writing.
Yeah.
But at the time, we had transitioned to computerized notes, so
Okay.
at least I could type, But on my chart, I couldn't read like my chicken scratch at the
Right.
time. But then that all kind of subsided, and then years went by. And then I would have but I put that out of my head. It was like MS, no, that's not me.
Just kind
And
of denial. Just yeah.
yeah, and then slowly things would happen. Like my ability to walk any long distance would slowly decrease. So I like hypothetically, I can walk a mile and then three-quarters of a mile, and it was just a slow progression,
Like a slow decline.
decline, right?
And how
And,
many?
and I would also get sick. I mean, I would have colds for a month, and then as years went on, I'd have trouble getting out of bed. It was a struggle.
Very similar to my story. So
Uh,
usually we're diagnosed or not diagnosed, and then you notice the symptoms, and they went away for for what you were doing or other reasons, and then they slowly started to come back
yeah, and they came back, pretty aggressively.
pretty aggressively.
Yeah, and then
Tell me about those days. What do you mean by aggressively?
my back would go out. I couldn't even stand upright at the time. And as a chiropractor, the job is physical in nature,
Pretty demanding.
and I would adapt and use tools, and which is good, for anybody's longevity. But in the past 3 years, it would affect my gait, the way I walk. So I developed a limp, that sort of thing.
A limp, and so at this point, did you stop practicing? You never really stopped practicing, or tell me about that.
Well, when I discovered Dr. Walls's work, my mother and my wife had researched and said, "Oh, you gotta watch this video," and it was the TED Talk, and then I got her book, read her book, and but just prior to that, I had done the McDougall diet because I was researching
McDougal, right? McDougal.
things to try.
Yeah.
So I did that for like a month, and
So McDougal, just to kind of go over that, it's more of a plant-based diet.
yeah, but
Low fat.
lots of greens and breads, and which was good while I was doing it. And
Sure.
tastes good.
Yeah, I did that as well. I did Swank. I did McDougal.
After a month, I'm like, this can't be right, because I kind of knew years prior that I should give up gluten, but I never did.
You knew how did you just well from your practice you probably were
Yeah,
exposed to
and
that.
just my knowledge of that sort of thing, but I just never did it. I was like,
Yeah,
forget.
right. So all right. So you mentioned Walls. What brought you to Walls? You said your mother and your
Yeah, my mother, my wife had researched, and they're like, you got to check out this video.
okay.
Dr. Walsh, it's amazing. And I watched it, and then I bought the book, and then I just started level one, then level two, and prior to that, I stopped going to the gym because I love working out.
You stopped going to the gym
Yeah,
because it just became too difficult.
I was in too much pain, and it just wasn't worth it to me. And I was eating like crap. I just didn't care anymore.
Right. I
Yeah.
know that very well. So you watched the video. Then what did you do? You're like, all right, this she's on to something, right? So what's the
So
next?
I just bought her book, and then I just read the book, and then started implementing. And that sort of thing for me was easy. The diet is easy.
Okay.
Working out is easy.
Okay.
It's the third component, which is the mind,
Yes.
and getting your mind right. And I'm not saying I'm perfect at it. I certainly have my ups and downs, like everybody does.
So
But
share with us some of your techniques because there's some people that are watching that have been diagnosed for 20 years, and there's some people that have just been diagnosed last week. Like share some of those techniques with when you describe the mind.
as far as the mind, well, I discovered it was ironic. A friend of my wife's, he lives about half an hour or so away.
Okay.
He just stumbled across a yoga center called Body and Brain.
Okay.
And he was describing it to me. I'm like, wow, that sounds like everything that I think I would want to do.
Okay.
And it just so happened that there's another center one town over from me, which was good. It was good for me. So my wife and I went, and I just went to like an open house, and I didn't do a class then, and then I waited a couple of weeks. And, I had fear about going out into public, into places that I didn't know or wasn't familiar with because of my walking and whatnot. And then after 2 weeks, my wife's like, "Do you want me to go with you?" And I said, in my mind, I wanted to say yes. I said, "No, I'm going to go."
A good man is a better wife.
Yeah. And then I went to the first class, and then it's such a great like Dr. Walls and us, we're like a community. Well, they're just like a community as well.
The yoga.
The first class I went to, they do all types of techniques that involve meditation, breathing. Even though I can't do some of the postures,
Okay.
I modify them. It doesn't matter because nobody's looking at you. Everybody's focused on what they're doing.
So you got
It's not the type of yoga that's like, crazy postures, because that wouldn't work for me. I mean, I wouldn't last 5 minutes.
okay.
But this type of yoga really helps you get out of your head and strengthen some of the lower chakras in the body.
So less physical and more mindful, if that's
Well, there's a physical component to it because they want to stretch and work and release energy and get the energy flowing. Because I'll notice I've been doing it for like almost a year and a half, and I noticed that if I skip a week or so, that I notice the difference for sure.
Okay. That's really good, and that's probably something I should incorporate as well. Take us a step back though. So this diet, right? I mean, most people, like I was a pizza delivery guy, then I went, to school. Yeah, my diet was like everybody else that I know. It was pizza and hamburgers. And now, how did you make that leap? You said that diet was easy for you. Explain
Yeah,
that.
so if I go back to when I was a competitive bodybuilder, I
Yes.
mean, people would be eating pizza or burritos or whatever, and it
Okay.
wouldn't phase me one iota.
Body. You just
I'd
said it.
sit there and watch them, and I'd eat my tuna with mustard on it.
Okay.
But I can, that's how
With
disciplined.
mustard.
Yeah.
So you were dedicated, man. That's awesome.
So
That's great.
I use that, and like my wife said, you had this such discipline when you back then. You need that discipline now. So it came to me pretty quick.
So, just for us that are newly diagnosed and people that have been with the Walls protocol for a while or been with MS for a while, we all heard the 3 cups of greens, the 3 cups of colors, and the 3 cups of sulfur type vegetables.
Right.
What? How do you deal with it? I mean, liver is a big thing that people don't want to eat. And most people, but I know you do because you've shared that with me quite often.
Yeah.
What's your take on the whole difficulties and or not difficulties of the diet? What's your impression of it?
Well, I think that the diet is very important. Don't get me wrong.
Correct.
But if you stress about, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do that, because I understand stress physiology, but the stress of worrying about getting everything in will cause maldigestion. So to me, the mind is more important. I'm not saying the diet isn't important. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that if you do the diet pristine, you exercise all the time, but if your mind isn't right, you're only doing about 60%.
Interesting.
So you can't expect 100% results.
So you're saying if your mind's in the right place, it doesn't necessarily matter what you eat because you're not absorbing, you're not utilizing it to the maximum.
That's right. Of course, you don't want to eat,
Correct.
standard American diet. That nobody should do that.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you are stressed constantly about worrying about, because I did it, I was like, I gotta get all this in. I gotta get,
Right.
drinking the smoothies and all this stuff. And if you are stressing about it, it's really counterproductive for absorption's sake.
No, that makes a lot of sense because you've even told me this before that your gut, your stomach, your GI is the first brain, and the second brain is what's between your ears, right?
Yeah, well, some people say the brain is the first brain and your gut's the second brain. But everything that I've learned so far, if your gut isn't right, your head isn't right.
Okay, so let's go there because this is one of my challenges as well. What are you doing to maximize your gut or your stomach, your digestive system?
Well, that's a good question. The first thing is I learned about eating hygiene. So when I do eat, I want to make sure that I'm in more of a parasympathetic mode. So I'm resting and digesting is what they call it.
Yeah, break down that parasympathetic for people who don't know what that means.
So it's like if you use the analogy of a car, you have a gas pedal and a brake pedal. The gas pedal is your sympathetic nervous system, and that's what makes your engine go.
Excellent.
But the problem in today's world is that we're always going, and that's what's causing some of our issues.
Gas pedal down, and we can't even control the car.
You're in overdrive basically all the time. Whereas the brake pedal is the parasympathetic nervous system, or your ability to rest and digest. So what I learned about eating hygiene is that when I eat, it's almost like meditative. I want to chew very thoroughly.
Excellent.
But I don't want to eat on the go. I don't want to eat in a rushed type of state. Because if you do that, you're gonna have maldigestion. It doesn't matter what you eat.
You know, for me, being in the dental field and then going to oral surgery, I'll add something to that and just kind of reinforce what you said. Our digestion starts in our mouth with our amylases.
Right.
Does have some enzymes, but then this is also our tastes, our bitters, our things directly communicates with our brain and tells our stomach what in our intestines right to do, right?
Yeah.
This is all very, very interesting.
You're getting your digestion is stimulated just by seeing food and by smelling it, even before you eat it.
Yeah, these are things that.
So in other words, when you eat, it should be in a relaxed state. It shouldn't be like on the go in the car, that sort of thing. I think I read somewhere that cup holders are only in cars in the U.S., not in other countries.
Is that right?
They don't believe in doing all that stuff.
That's profound, and that is very profound. Okay, so you're doing your vegetables and all. Tell us more about your diet. I mean, it's not just the vegetables, right? What else? I have to excuse me, folks. I use the word diet, but David and I both agree, Dr. Dave, that it's not a diet; it's a lifestyle, right, Dave?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Because I'm going to be doing this forever. It's not. I'm off gluten and dairy until I get better. No, that's not going to happen. Although I was reading a book just before I read the Walls book called The MS Diet, and there was a story of a guy in there. I think it was a movie producer or something. I forget what he was, but he reversed his MS by eliminating dairy and gluten and doing whatever.
Okay.
And then once he was better, he went back to his old ways. I'm like, now I know lots of people with MS, but I could never see myself doing that.
I've slipped. I think that's rather common. You get confident. You think, oh boy, I got this beat. I deserve this whatever fancy treat. And then I eat it, and I haven't done it in a long time. But when I do, wow,
it's not worth it.
Not worth it. So tell me what your typical day on the Walls protocol entails, because you're working. You still have your practice. What is your day like? Is it hard? Is it like, are you fasting? Are you not like?
Well, yeah, I like to do intermittent fasting. I just got back from vacation, so I did eat a little. I did eat a little bit differently, not non-compliant food. Just I ate more frequently than I usually do. I like to eat twice a day.
Okay, so you're intermittent fasting, and you're in Walls 3, the Walls Paleo Plus.
I do 2.
2, so Walls Paleo. Okay, so you're allowed a little more carbs, etc. A little bit. And so how do you deal with what are the other things? Seaweed, liver, some other fermented foods.
Yeah, that's not a problem for me.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I have a fridge at work, so I keep the fermented foods in the fridge. I have my seaweed thing, the shaker. I have it at home there. So, the only place I didn't eat that type of stuff was when I was away.
When you were on vacation.
It was just for 5 days.
Walls makes a very good point about seaweed, and I would have thought years ago that was so gross, but we all came from the sea, right? And so having those micronutrients, I mean, it makes sense, right? That salt, all the micro minerals.
And if your digestion isn't good, your absorption isn't good.
Isn't going to work. So you can jam all that stuff in, but if your digestion's not good.
And I was a year or so ago. I think I was overeating. So she says 3 cups of each. The color, the green, the sulfur.
Right.
But I think that's a template, as I've heard her say.
Yes.
That you maybe for some people it's 2 cups, 2 cups, 2 cups.
Understood. Based on your, well, it could be based on a lot of things, but it more easily your body weight and how big you are. If you're, she's 6 foot tall. She's a larger woman, and so she definitely can do the 9.
Yeah.
Somebody, I have patients that I see that are maybe 80 pounds, right? And so they're not going to be able to get 9. And so they get all stressed about, like you were saying. And that's not good for you either. So
you have to kind of find the happy medium. Yeah. Again, I was like doing smoothies and
yeah,
it's too much. I can't do it, So I tailored it to what was good for me.
So back up a little bit. So you went from doing McDougall and doing your thing, and you went found walls and you started to work well. What did you notice? Was there any changes you noticed, or was it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I stopped going to the gym. I was in pain all the time, my back,
Okay.
and I couldn't really. I could work on patients, but it was affecting my gait as well. But then once I started doing the protocol, I could get back to the gym, and I was a lot happier.
Less pain, more energy.
Less pain, My biggest time with back pain is in the morning when I'm stiff, but I have some techniques that I use from yoga to kind of get that kind of mitigated.
Would you call that like spasticity?
It might be. I call it stiffness, or you can't sit up straight.
Yeah, your body's not working the way it wants to. So you started to notice more energy, less pain. Anything else?
Less brain fog at the time.
Less brain fog.
Yeah, and I could move, but when it affects your ability to walk correctly, it's one thing to not be able to walk as far.
Right.
But when your gait is impeded and you're walking with a limp or, like a penguin or whatever, that's right. Another thing that it can really demoralize you.
Right. We've talked about this before, and I know that all too well.
And at the time, before I started getting back to the gym, I wouldn't go to the gym just because of that reason. I didn't want anybody to see me, but
embarrassing,
shameful. In reality, it doesn't. Nobody really cares,
Right.
Not that they probably would wonder what the hell it is, but
they're all in their own world, their own space. Nobody's really. Yeah, that took me a long time to realize that.
Yeah.
I'm not as important as I think, and people don't really care much as I think they do.
Yeah.
Not that they don't care, but they have their own issues.
Yeah, exactly. They could have depression or who knows,
Okay, so you're going back to the gym. You got less brain fog. I mean, surely, like when I started diet, did you had to have some struggles, or you just went full force and just and went into it?
It took me time to get the gist of it and
right.
Get my bearings. But I remember the last day I had a piece of bread. I was with my sister-in-law, and it was over 2.5 years ago. And dairy, I knew because dairy would give you that like post-nasal drip and all that. So yes. I knew that was definitely going to go.
Okay. So how are you doing now? Like, how long have you been on the Wallace protocol?
I've been doing the Wallace protocol for over 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Yeah. I'm not going to say I'm perfect because I'm not. I have my ups and downs. I don't practice chiropractic very much anymore because of the physical nature of it. I do a little bit, but not a lot. And I'm more into functional medicine
Your functional medicine practice, and for those that if you want to look them up on Facebook, it's called the Healthy Detour, right. Or thehealthydetour.com would be
Yeah,
the website, right?
that's
To get
right.
information
And
before.
I chose that name because health. Unfortunately, I wish it were the case that it was a straight line upward, but it's not. And my life and my health have taken a detour, if you will.
Understood.
And
Understood.
I'm certainly not. I'm not over the detour either, but I'm not where I was at the time.
Okay, so you have a wife. You have a how when you brought these new ideas home, and I guess your mother and your wife were already on board with it. Like how was it incorporating it in your life? I mean, for example, I have children, and they don't all. I wish they did, but they don't all eat like walls. So how did you deal with that challenge?
Well, it's just me and my wife. So my wife, she still eats, stuff that I don't eat, but it's not a big deal for me, because coming from my background, like I said, I would see my friends eating all kinds of stuff, and it wouldn't faze me a bit.
Okay, okay,
She does eat better, than if I wasn't doing walls.
sure.
Like we'll have our veggies and protein for dinner, and we'll eat the same dinner.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, this is really, really good, David. I really, really appreciate it. And
My pleasure.
I hope our viewers do as well. We always end up with a few questions. I mean, one of the questions is what advice do you have for people that have had MS for a long time, looking to go to consider the Walls protocol, not the diet, the Walls protocol, and even for those that are newly diagnosed, what advice do you have?
And they're just going to start like they're just going to begin it.
Either begin or somebody that's been on, has been dealing with an MS for a long time, and they've tried this and that, and they're looking for something new. I mean, how would you advise them to approach it? Like, what would be maybe your first three steps? Maybe we could break it down that way.
I definitely would start slow, because your body, your physiology, your biochemistry, how your body works
Yes.
needs to adjust. I mean, I wouldn't do it. Some people just want to do it like full force. I don't recommend that, because you're coming from a different place, so you need time to adjust. And I would say the slower the better. I mean, yeah, if you're up for cutting out gluten and dairy right from the get go, if you can do it. But if you can only do one per month, that's good too.
So, what would be perhaps your first step? Would it be just to cut out the sugars, cut out the bread, cut out the milk, or to do it all at once,
I would say cut out gluten first and reduce the sugars, because if you go cold turkey, that's probably not good either.
yes.
It's slow and steady. I think slow and steady is the best way.
So, just to kind of reinforce that, you said you're not anti-drug, and neither am I. Um, I'll make a statement, and I don't know if you'll agree with it or not, but drugs or diet or lifestyle are not mutually exclusive. It is possible to do both.
Sure,
Correct.
sure. Well, from what I understand about the DMD, they call it, right, disease modifying drugs, that maybe you want to do it for a short term, but you want to change your lifestyle in the process, and then hopefully your lifestyle changes will take over for the drug.
That's interesting.
So that you won't have to do it forever.
Dr. Ken Charlin, that neurologist who's now a functional medicine neurologist, agrees with that wholeheartedly. He says, the idea is if you need the drug and you're not into the lifestyle change, and once you take on these lifestyle changes, then maybe we wean you off the drug. And I seem that, rather than get into kind of a tug of war, drug or no drug, I think the elephant in the room is the diet and lifestyle.
For sure. I mean, there's no harm that's going to come of that. I mean,
Right.
I look at things like how much is the upside and downside,
Okay.
and with lifestyle changes, don't see any downside. I mean, to me, there's no downside.
I am going to have pictures of Dr. Dave before. I don't know. I just ran the house for my kids at soccer practice, and I'm not seeing how to get them on. But when I edit this, I'm going to add these pictures. But you should see him when he was, how old were you? 17, 16?
19.
19. Oh my God. Right out of a magazine, right? That's why we call him 12 pack as a joke. And then I got pictures we're going to show you where he is now. Not bad, pretty impressive. So Dr. David Waldman, I'm going to give you the final word. So let's just review. We can find you on Facebook under the Healthy Detour. You can find you on the web at www.thehealthydetour.com.
Right.
I'll put you on the spot here. Can people PM you with questions or,
Absolutely, yeah.
And I appreciate so much that
the one thing we didn't talk about is the community that we've built.
Please.
Between you and me and Kana and
Yes.
Tony, and, V, and there's some others too that prior to going to the Wall seminar last year, and then I had met V just prior to that. I really didn't know anybody with MS, and if you don't know people, like-minded people, or people with the same situation, it can be quite lonely. So I think that
I agree.
It's highly important.
I agree 100% that Wall's protocol seminar. Not that I'm selling or touting anything, but just that community that we're associated with people that are similar struggles, and we see success stories. We see people that are better than us, people are worse than us. I just think that was life changing for me.
For sure.
So I think that's what we're trying to do here, right? Is we're trying to bring that sense of hope. I got to answer Bruce's question because he said, "Did you guys have food sensitivities tests done, or just figure out trial and error?"
That's a good question. I did have them done, but the gold standard is the elimination diet, which doesn't cost you anything.
So break that down a little bit for people that don't understand what the elimination diet. That's part of.
If I'm somebody with MS, right? So I'm gonna eliminate gluten and dairy and never reintroduce that. But let's say it's something like nightshades. So it could be tomato, potato, eggplant, or peppers. So you would eliminate. Let's say they use that for an example. You would eliminate it for, if you want to just do a short-term test trial, for 4 weeks, and then you slowly bring that back and see how your body would react.
What makes those foods particularly sensitive for some people?
Nightshades have a tendency to kind of attack the joints. So if you have a joint-related pains, and this doesn't just apply to MS, this applies to just anything. Arthritis.
So lectins, anti-nutrients, sensitivity issues, and those nightshades or white potatoes or
potato, eggplant, peppers. Oh, and tobacco too. So if you smoke, you're in big trouble.
And then some people, like Walls, might even consider eggs something that they're sensitive to that they can't.
It could be eggs too, yeah. That would be a separate category.
And I'm sure there's a huge list that I'm not even on top of my head, but the elimination diet is a big deal.
Yeah, because the food sensitivity testing can have a lot of errors in it. So you could be eliminating foods that you're not sensitive to.
For a host of reasons. Not a slam dunk. So
the elimination diet is free.
the elimination diet is free. I like free.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, cost effective.
Understood. Okay, this has been very, very informative. I will edit this a little bit and rebroadcast. So if you guys need to want to take a look at this again, or if you want to contact Dr. Waldman or myself, we're always available, because I think we've both been in pretty dark places. I think we both, I hate to shudder at the word shame, but like what he's talking about walking with a limp. I mean, I just wanted to crawl under a rock and didn't want anybody to see me. And so I think Dr. Waldman and myself and Tony and Kana and V and many more I can't even I know I'm going to miss, but there's hundreds
a lot
that are willing to share what they've learned. And are we like experts at this? No, because it's a journey, right?
Yeah.
So let's go on the journey together. And I think that's what the magic of this. If we can create a community, an epidemic of health, Dr. Walls calls it, let's do it. I talk to people that are on the verge of suicide. I've talked to people that are totally healed and then are climbing mountains, Kana, you know what I mean? So if we could stick together and kind of hold each other up, I just think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's so important, because if you don't have that, I mean, you can eat all the liver and the kale you want.
We can't forget Cecilia.
It's not going to happen.
She's one of our buddies too. Yeah. So again, not to be pushing the seminar, but I really found that profound.
It's a great seminar, but for some people, even for me, it was tough to get to. It's in Iowa. You can't fly direct. It's hard for you, of course.
Yeah, I actually went in a wheelchair, and the first person that greeted me there was the Paleo Boss lady. She came over and gave me a kiss. Oh my God, these people are either crazy or like super nice. Well, they were super nice.
Yeah, no, it was awesome, but for some people, it's either hard to get to, or there's a cost involved. So I think this type of forum that we're doing now is a way for us to interact. And
I so agree. I so agree, and that's why I really appreciate you having you on here. I
appreciate you having me. It's been a lot of fun.
It's been a lot of fun, and we'll continue the journey together. Not just you and I, but all of us.
There's a lot more. Yeah,
it's unique, right? Has this ever been done before? Where we get a group of patients and say, you know what, F you this, F you that, we're doing this, and we're gonna fight together.
Exactly.
Kind of a negative word, but in our own way we will, and so I hope I can inspire. I know Dr. Waldman hopes he can inspire, as we've been inspired. We've been inspired by so many. And I got to tell you, and I'm sure you're the same way, Dr. Waldman, that you wake up in the morning and some days you're like, the heck with it. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
You can't.
For sure. There's ups, there's downs. I can have a day where I'm up 1 minute and then 20 minutes later, I'm feeling like crap. But then 20 minutes later, I'm doing good.
And that's what I found too. If I could just push 1 minute at a time, next minute, it might be different. But that 1 minute, boy, it seemed really hard. So just, I'm not even saying 1 day at a time. I'm going to say 1 minute at a time.
Exactly. Yep, for sure.
All right. Yeah, and even Amanda's agreeing that we're stronger together. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, I'm going to go have some Walls compliant food. I think most of the kids are in bed. And I'm going to thank you again, Doctor, for coming on. And maybe we'll do this again sometime. Maybe we'll do this again when you're running the mile or whatever.
Half mile.
Half mile. All right, I'll give you that. Half. All right. God bless everybody, and thanks for joining us. And Just a reminder, on Monday, we have Dr. Ken Charlin, who's not only a neurologist, but a functional medicine neurologist. And he has some interesting cases and ideas that maybe we haven't been exposed to before. And so I'm very excited about that. And then after that, we have a few other Walls warriors that are going to share their stories with us. So, it's rather exciting. And I just see this. Let's just keep moving forward. Let's just do this thing.
Absolutely.
Thank you again, Doc. And we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thank you. Bye now.